Welcome to Artists in Residences, the Westport Library's virtual artist series. I'm Carol Erger-Fass, exhibit curator at the library. Over the past year and a half, Miggs and I have done about 35 of these videos, documenting the vibrant community of artists who call Westport home. We visited the studios of painters, photographers, digital and mixed media artists, and sculptors. And today, we add our first shell artist to the list. Susan Lloyd, lifelong Westport resident and lifelong artist, has been working with shells as a medium for over 20 years. A look inside her studio reveals an amazing assortment of colors, shapes, and sizes of shells sourced from all over the world. And she organizes them meticulously in boxes on the shelves that cover her walls. You have to see them. She started making decorative boxes, and she still sells those at markets and fairs, but she's lately become fascinated by the shape of the human skull and statuettes of saints. She scours the web for antique frames and clock boxes to house them, and then transforms them into her uniquely intricate, shell-encrusted works of art. So just in time for Halloween, let's get a look into the interesting world of Susan Lloyd.
Thank you very much, Carol. This is such a great opportunity. The library gives us to interview artists in their residences. And today's guest is Susan Lloyd, whose medium is shells. And we're not talking about, bathroom mirrors and things like that. Susan has an extraordinary reach of, ideas and use for her shells, which we'll see shortly. But did you start out, when was your earliest artistic inspiration? And when did you know you were an artist?
Oh, when I was little. It was just, we had a neighbor who would have little art contests. So I would draw and I would win the contest. And I took art from some woman up on the top of Minuteman Hill. I don't know who that was. And I took classes at Silvermine, and I went to RISD and all that good stuff. But this has been only 20 years of shells.
20 years of shells.
Yeah.
Now, are you a beachcomber? I mean, people want to know, where do you get all these shells when we see your work?
No, they are. Yeah. You want to see? Well, they're, okay, try not to do roller coaster. These come from, I can do that, right?
Yeah, you can switch. Yep.
Switch. These come from dealers all over the world, but my favorite is a couple in New Jersey who have the best shells. And they have a couple of shows twice a year where we can all go buy stuff. There's a lot of shells. No, if I beachcombed, it would be mussels, oysters, scallops, all beaten up by Long Island Sound. And also I like really dark shells, and those are hard to find. Those are from India and Sri Lanka and Australia and Tahiti and places that I don't go to. And yeah.
And where do you know where they all come from? I mean, are they beachcombers? I mean,
no, they're sometimes it will say where it came up in a net, or small children are bringing them up and then eating what's inside and then sending the shells along.
So it's like an aftermarket, a shell aftermarket.
A lot of aftermarket. And there are people, though, who do use just what they find. But my stuff is too, I like exotic shells.
Yeah, well, we should just start with taking a look. Like there's just pick a piece so people know what we're talking about, because so far
usually while I walk all the way over here.
We know, but a lot of people, oh, nice.
Right.
Yeah, this is very
that's a shell that actually comes, I traded that with a guy on the Panhandle. That's a lion's paw, and people bring those up and they eat what's inside. It's like a scallop. But
well, this is just in time for Halloween. This is great.
I know. These are the guys. Here's.
Wow.
It's Manny, Mo, and Jack and a friend. If the Pep Boys are
amazing,
familiar.
they take on even more kind of a gruesome, eerie. Shells are for most people just this benign little stuff on the beach, but when they're applied like this, they really Who
And
said
some
that?
things are coral. I mean, that's a type of coral in his eyeballs.
Oh, is it?
And on his nose, around his nose, that's a type of coral. I don't know where that comes from. But yeah, no, there's.
I mean, so
spooky-
there's, and is the model, is the base, is there a real skull underneath or a model?
when I first tried, I wanted to buy real skulls, but they're really expensive and kind of illegal. No, this is like a $30 plastic skull from a medical supply company in the Pacific Northwest, and I buy them a couple at a time. This is the most I've ever had at once, but they do sell, usually to motorcycle guys. Or
Oh, yeah.
I can usually tell if I'm someone's coming into the booth who's a big burly guy with a lot of ink, and he'll buy these things.
Yeah, they're so menacing. Have you ever counted?
Yes.
I mean, an estimate, like how many, like that middle one, how many shells there might be on that? Like,
No, I never count, just
You
like
want-
I never keep track of how long it takes,
oh, great. Okay.
because I work, a lot of people work beginning to end, and I work on many things at the same time because I get distracted and I get bored, or you have to wait for the glue to dry.
Oh, okay. Now what this is is this a new piece, a coffin?
No, that's he was in the show in Florida for COVID. I mean, pre-COVID. So
It looks like after COVID.
I know this is a COVID
Victim.
guy.
Yeah.
And, but that was a challenge to find a coffin that would fit this miniature. A lovely young lady in Reno, Nevada made the coffin, but I covered it. And yeah.
So
But yes.
yeah.
No, we had the last, there's a shell show every year, the first weekend of March, couple days of March in Sanibel. And it's for competition. I mean, this is the big prize. I'll show you. They give you ribbons.
Oh.
Big deal, but it's a big deal show. It's artistic and scientific, and but that's why I made this one, because there's a box category. So he went into box categories.
Oh, and is there a skull cut? I mean, you don't consider, it's not competitive so much, is it? Well, it's artistically, I guess, competitive. You want to outshine.
For some people, it's competitive. For some people, it gets really serious. I've been doing it for so long, I don't care as much. But for instance, I can't, this is something that was supposed to be in the 12 by 12. No, I couldn't. Oh, this is too big for the 12 by 12 show.
And what are those little saints?
That's really not many shells. So if it's not enough shells to go in the show, but it's enough saints for me to be happy with.
Yeah. So what's the fascination with saints?
Fascination with saints. That started with an old friend who found a Saint Dymphna statue. And then I found one. And I also found a clock box, which are these things. An empty clock box.
Oh.
And which are mostly made in Connecticut, or were. And I put her in it. Hers was more upright, more like this little one.
Oh, great.
And that's Mary Magdalene, who holds a skull in her hand. I guess to remind us of death.
Oh, that came that way? You didn't play?
She came, no, I have to search the internet for saints. No, I have no affiliation with the church or this. They have good stories.
Yeah. Well,
and Saint Dymphna is the patron saint of mental illness and nervous disorders. And they're usually martyrs, the women.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on. I'm trying to not make you sick here.
Yeah, try to keep a little steady as she goes. Oh, okay.
This is Saint Apollonia, who she's, if you can see it, she has a halo of teeth.
Oh.
And she's holding a pair of pliers. Because more often than not, these young women in the 11th, 12th century, their families wanted them to marry rich older guys. They wanted to follow Jesus or go into a nunnery. So they would refuse and people would attack them. And she had her teeth knocked out.
I mean, were there dentists in those days? I mean,
no, but she became patron saint of dentists somehow.
Okay.
I don't understand how you get to be that kind of stuff, but
Yeah. So like, I mean, they have St. Christopher medals. So would you wear a saint, like if you're going to the dentist, you'd put on one of the saintly medals or something to,
or maybe a dentist office would. I don't even know if it's, or if you're going, or if your teeth hurt, do you pray to her?
yeah. Oh, I see.
I don't know. And this is, St. Jude is somebody people pray to, I think, if they're having an exam, like a school, like patron saint of, these are all lost causes or desperate situations. Or if you lose something, you pray to one of these guys. If you have a test you haven't studied for, but these rotate so that if you don't get the answer from the first one, the second or the third will help you out.
And do you start with do you just envision it in your head and you just start doing it? Or do you have to actually, do you sketch anything out first, or a little blueprint and say, oh, I'm going to do 3 scallop shells over here and 2 over there?
No planning, no drawing, just, it's usually starts with something like a glare in the window. Okay. Like this started with the baby in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And he sat with that big shell for a while. And then I just put stuff on.
So you just look and, I mean, you've got the image. So you just think, I wonder what would look good behind,
right,
in front and behind and next to and around. And
I'll stick something on. And then a lot of things like the boxes also, they lend themselves to, you put one down. Okay, that looks good. Do I have 25 of them around the same size?
Mm.
And if you don't, then you either have to get new or you change your idea.
Yeah, I was wondering if you had some grand thing or, border or something like this, and then you were one short. I mean, what? You ever?
That will happen. Then you put something in the center or you fudge it, you fake it. Because these do not really rely on fancy symmetry. I mean, or you put a really big shell on a tiny box, and that's instant art. And then you decorate it and you hope somebody wants to buy it. But the most fun are the big things, like, or you get to do this for the.
Yeah, no, what is that? I love that, because that looks, I mean, that's all from the ocean.
That's all fan coral.
Okay.
And that's the first representational or whatever, more arty piece that I ever did. And that's the community show. It was supposed to be roots in the community, and it's just fan coral, 2 different kinds, in a really, really nice frame. I get those online too. That's eBay searching. No, I like fan coral a lot, and it'll cover a background. It'll fill nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's amazing how it's kind of reinterpreted as reaching up, reaching down. I mean, they're just got its little roots. So, and where do you? I mean, you're a member of the Artist Collective, and you've shown in a lot of our shows. But where else how far do you reach? How far does your art?
It reaches only as far as Florida, as Sanibel. Because that's where the shell show is every year. That's the biggest one, the oldest one, the most important. It's a tiny world, shell shows. There are about 5 of them, and they're disappearing more and more every year. But I even have a table there so I can sell stuff. And then I show when the collective has something, but I have a harder time because it's 3-dimensional. Which is why I guess I started doing these things in glass and
right, because and they're so, I don't know, they're fragile, like they look fragile, so it looks like you don't want to bump into them, or and what are they?
They're fragile. They're sort of fragile. Things fall off.
Yeah.
And most people are pretty cool about it, especially. I mean, I do the Westport Fine Arts Festival. I do Mystic. I do a couple others, and it's nice if I meet the person who's going to buy this, because then I can talk to them about if it falls off, Elmer's glue or whatever glue, or just put it in the box. Or if it gets really bad, call me. I'll come fix it.
So the care and feeding of
yes,
your piece, yeah.
Though I now sell the the skulls with a big glass dome on them,
Hmm.
because that makes it easier that cuts down on maintenance.
Yeah, plus it makes it look like a museum, like it
Right.
if it came from, in the Smithsonian or something.
Makes them look really fancy. So yeah, and it's just what I do all the time.
Have you ever has anybody asked for like people do commissions where somebody gives you a piece of a frame, or to put something in a box frame or something and has a.
No, that I only once did I do commissions, and it was at first I said no to the woman, and because the first time I did a commission and I hated every second.
Oh yeah.
Because it was, I want this shell, this shell, this shell, this color. No. But then a woman asked me for 4 boxes for 4 granddaughters. And then she showed me how many of my pieces she'd already purchased. And I said, yes. And I just got these little, from off of eBay, I got little rhinestone pins that were the girls' initials. And she gave me a ballpark, pinkish or yellowish. So it was not restrictive at all. So that was nice. But yeah, no commissions, no, here, take these shells and make something.
Yeah.
I've worked in enough service industries. So this is, if you like it, buy it. If you don't, you don't have to.
That's a good attitude.
Yeah. And what else? I'm going to go swing over here. Oh, and there are these. I do these too, not as much.
Oh yeah, what were you called? What are those called? With the
it's a bubble glass.
bubble glass.
Because I don't know if you can see the glass. Well, the glass domes out.
Yeah, okay.
And then a buddy of mine extends it about 1/8 of an inch. So I can put really, really fragile stuff inside.
Mm.
And again, semi symmetrical designs.
Yeah, I was gonna say there is a lot of symmetry. I know it can't be perfect because every shell, although to me, to the layman's eye, the shells do look almost identical, but I guess the beauty is they're not, and they vary in color and shades, but you pretty much like symmetry.
Oh yes, I insanely so. And the problem with shells is they have left hand and right hand.
What do you mean?
Certain the shell has 2 sides. So the left side they'll face one way and then face the other. I don't know if that is clear. Do I have an example?
I mean, you mean there's the inside and the outside of a shell?
Well, I don't know if this, okay, these shells are all going up this way. They spiral to the right.
To the right, yeah.
So they look perfect going up this side, but
yeah.
They don't look the same on this side. So, and how you turn a shell, like this shell kind of is pointing to the left, and you can't do the same thing with that shell. You've got to turn it.
Okay. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, I guess.
See, here are 2 shells the same, but where is it? There. See, they don't exactly.
No.
Yeah. So that's why it's an illusion of symmetry, but that works. And what else? Ooh, a piece in progress.
Oh yeah. So and what do you envision? And so you don't know yet, really, or do you? You know what's going in the
yes, more often than not, there's a saint who's already set up. I tend to hold on. I'm gonna try not to make anybody seasick. I grab Saint Teresa of Avila, a scholar, and a really cool statue. That has a lot to do with it.
Oh yeah, that's a perfect fit. So
they sit around sometimes sitting in their clock box, and often with the paper already on it. Because if I put paper on it, then it's easier for me to take the shells off if I make a mistake or I don't like, because it's with
But do you live with it for you put her in there and then come back in a day or two and to see if you still like her in there and then maybe swap her out for somebody else? Or
sometimes, yeah. Yes, especially because I've got a lot of available saints in different sizes, but I don't buy a box and say, oh, this is perfect for Mary, or it's who fits in the box, who looks good in the box.
They sort of tell, yeah. So in a way, they sort of tell you they belong there or not.
Yeah.
So,
So
I
get me
like
out.
it here, right?
Yes. And then her colors, that she's not very exciting, and she's got a really boring outfit on, but so she doesn't get too much color to overshadow what she's doing, because she was a scholar.
Oh, okay.
But then I have to be careful what I put on it. I don't know. So then lots of hearts, which mean
yeah.
nothing. They only a tiny bit to her, but
And what
she's
kind
got
of?
double. Oh,
Yeah, I've
that's
never seen. They're just called heart
Well,
shells, or
they're called heart cockles, but they also, it's like a scallop. Those come to me glued together.
but isn't there a phrase? The cockles of my heart or something?
Cockles, yes, you warm nothing like hot cockles.
What is that?
That's from Woody Allen, but
sounds flirty, but it's not.
no, it says it warms the cockles of my heart.
Yeah.
Cockles are, hold on, how do I, okay, let's see. Cockles, that's a genus, I guess, of shells. That's your basic cockle.
Okay.
It's just like you'd almost find it here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a scallop, but those are just pretty snazzy, and they are in two parts, and they scoot along like this. The way scallops do, the way scallops move in the water, these guys.
Oh, so they're living, I guess all shells,
All shells are living
question.
organisms, which then makes me feel guilty sometimes, because this is a separated heart cockle.
This is really a giant morgue, is what you're telling us, right?
Oh, everybody's dead here. There's a heart cockle the way they are when they're alive.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, these shells are this is all some little crustacean's hard work to build this and then die so that I can work on this.
To make you rich and famous.
Oh yes. That's what I'm going for too.
Are some really collectible? I guess they all are.
Yes.
Once you use them, they're collectible. But is there really what's the rarest? Is there such a thing? They're so plentiful, I guess, in the ocean. But is there really a rare shell?
Yes, there are rare shells. The fun part of doing the shell show is in Florida. Half of it is scientific, and those are the people who travel the world looking for the most exotic. They go diving. They can also take a live shell. Sanibel, you cannot. And they collect them. I collect them just so I can glue them on things. What do I have? Oh, I know. Somebody came over to me once. I had a piece, and they said, "Do you know you've got a rare specimen in there?" But I kind of knew, but I wanted. It looked good. It was a strange type of oyster, and I don't know where it is now. Oh well. Yes, there are some shells that are worth a lot of money, but not anything I've used.
Yeah, and you don't paint them. There's no need to. The colors are so natural, but there's no deck.
Oh, and that's the point I like about
people may think that you're painting all those white shells, but the shells are.
Oh no, they'll say, "Is that the real color?" There's a pink shell. There are strange orange ones.
Wow.
There are purple shells. There are
turnip.
There are not enough black shells for my taste. There's
not black. Yeah, you get I love the names. Melon Milk Moon. Who names them?
Oh well, some I may name.
Oh really?
That's a moon shell, but it's also called a melon shell. But it has a Latin name somewhere. But because I have to name them at least to give me a head start when I look for what's here, because I need to know it kind of stays the way it is, even after I clean it once or twice a year.
Speckled gray cone. I just love the names.
Yeah.
Orange
nutmeg.
So some of it is just to remind you what they look like. Well, you can see it. Hawaiian rice.
Oh yeah, those were very rare at one point. Here are fat hearts.
What? Fat hearts?
But the fat hearts it's like a scallop. There's half of a fat heart. And so I have to separate those, or people use them as they are.
You separate them, so they're like the way we know a clamshell to be two. You have to separate the two halves, hemispheres, or whatever they are?
Correct. Yeah, somebody somewhere is gluing them. So I have to put them in a little bucket of water and put them in the microwave to melt the Elmer's glue or whatever they're using. So I mostly use my microwave for that.
Who knew that's so involved?
Yes, health, really. And oops.
And so what's going on here? You're just sort of like piecing things.
Oh, this is me. I don't do boxes much anymore, but that's how the whole thing started. Cute little decorative boxes. And so now all my boxes either have skulls on them, or I just got a whole bunch of hands and feet. So I thought I'd put little hands on it. So as if you could even grab the little hand, and but it's stuck on with sticky stuff. So that's the most I will do to design something. Is where's my hand? This is sticky stuff. I have no hand. There it is. I have this sticky stuff, which if I put there, and then I put the little hand on top.
That's just temporary for positioning?
That's just temporary, so I know that it's okay. And then I'll put some stuff around it, and if it looks good, I'll glue it. And I'm never as fussy as I used to be. It's just, that works good. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And just, it's not life or death. It's not that important as long as it looks good.
Yeah, but you've been doing it so long, you have obviously this sense of what looks right. I mean, you don't have to agonize over every placement. And I cover every single square centimeter. I didn't used to. I used to be a lot of paper showing, but not anymore. What else is here that's cool? Anything? What's the big? You haven't done any shell murals, or
no, I know one or two people who do big outdoor pieces. I also know people who do teeny tiny things.
Oh yeah, what's the smallest shell that you have? That Hawaiian rice, is that as tiny? Is that the smallest?
Oh well, I think so. Oh, the smallest thing I have. They come in pink. There's something that a little shell will produce. It's on the bottom of the creature's foot, because there's a creature living in every single thing. And when they retract into the shell, they have the base of their foot is hardened, and it's called an operculum. And that's one of the smallest ones I have. These are pink.
Oh my God. So a thing lived. Oh, that's the foot of a thing.
That's his foot. Because the shells are beautiful. The creatures are usually very unattractive, slimy blobs. But this is what his little foot, and when it's like a little door too. When he goes into he or she, but when they go into the shell, they've left this little door that other people can't get in.
Okay.
And that's one of the smallest things I have. And they're stupidly expensive, which is why I don't use them that often.
It almost look like, when you see a pharmacist counting out pills or something.
Yes, exactly.
Right, with the little.
But they also come in different varieties. Here's a different kind.
Oh man.
That's his one side. That's what, I guess that's against his little slimy body. And this is what you see when you go into the shell.
Hey, they're enabling you to make a living. I wouldn't be so disparaging of their
well, yeah, types, this is, we're not dining out on this. This is, if I had to, I only know 2 people who make a living doing shell art.
Seriously? Oh yeah. I
mean, there might be 2 or 3, but I know one guy. He does huge sailors' valentines. He is very much in demand. He works 9 to 6 days a week, as if it's a job, which it is. He's amazing. He makes a lot of flowers. He has commissions so that he has to work all year round. But it's in an 8-sided box, which is very, very meticulously built, the inside. Way above my pay grade and my desire to work.
But you do this almost every day, I assume, right?
I do it all summer long and into the fall until I go to Florida in January, where I do not work.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay.
No.
Given the shell, but
I've had enough.
Within reach of more shells when you're down there, but that's when you don't work. Yeah.
Right. I will sometimes buy shells when I'm down there, but not. There's a shell. Oh, that's this shell. The shell inside this is a Florida shell,
Oh, so it's just a shell decorated with shells.
a shell covered in shells. This is called a, oh God,
What's a,
oh
is it
God. Oh, well,
conch
it's a
shell?
left-handed, it's one of the only left-handed shells that exists.
Seriously, oh.
Yeah. Most shells turn to the right, but he turns to the left. Lightning whelk, that's what it's called.
Hmm.
One of my favorites. What else? Is
Anything
here?
else you want to, because we've got a few minutes or a minute or two left. If you want to,
Okay.
anything we didn't look at or something you'd want to talk about?
Well, I do cover the back of everything. There's that. Oh, I just turned you. Sorry. That's something else. I mean, the back of every piece is covered completely.
Yeah,
Just-
I like that. I mean, it's important. I wouldn't want to, yeah, a piece and you look and it's just sort of whatever, ugly wood or something that's not.
Right.
Yeah, it should be complete.
And the sides, and it's not as fancy, but it will be done
Yeah.
all the way around. And certain saintly things are taken into consideration, like Saint Lucy, who was has her eye, well, I don't have her anymore, but she had her eyes poked out. So she has little glass eyes all around her design.
Hmm.
Just like the teeth in Apollonia, or what else? I will show you what a sailor's valentine looks like. That is a sailor's valentine. A really amateurish one.
And what's the origin of, I mean, that's somebody made it for a sailor or a sailor made it?
No,
for
well,
somebody, or-
they made them for sailors in the 1800s, 1830s. There was a store in the Bahamas, in Barbados, or in the Bahamas,
Hmm.
where maybe in Barbados, oh crap, in Barbados, where the sailors would come in off of their ships, go into the store and say, I want this as a gift to bring home to my girlfriend or whatever. And then he'd sail, he'd give whatever he wanted. Sometimes there would be a picture inside, and then he'd go sailing off. And when he came back, it would be finished, and he would take it back to his, a souvenir to his loved one. That is a huge part of the shell art world.
Okay.
And
And are they always in, what are those,
Yes.
octagonal boxes or?
they're always in octagonal. If they have rules out the wazoo, if they're double, they have to have a heart on one side and a message on the other. It's sometimes, and the smallest I've ever seen is that big.
No.
There's a miniaturist who does this, and then the biggest I've seen was 3 feet or 3 feet across. So
All right. Well, let's see you again. Get back if you just
Okay.
say goodbye and
no,
thank you, so we know in case anybody
I'm still
came
here.
in late and they don't know who we're talking to.
And it's Norm Siegel here. No,
Yeah. No, thank you so much. Any you have a website, which I think I did
have
for
a
you 20 years
website.
ago, but it's
yeah, it's
just a
just there to be.
contact.
It's a placeholder. Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Because as I said, if I send somebody something, it'll probably break in the mail. So I'd have to go to their house and fix it. So it's just to show what I do.
well, thanks so much for your time.
Okay. Thank you, Miggs. And thank you, Carol, for doing this whole thing.
Yeah, our pleasure. This is
This is cool.
Okay, happy Halloween.
Oh, yes. Thanks.
Thanks, Susan, and thanks, Miggs. After listening to you talk about saints, I looked up on Wikipedia, and there are saints for everything, for artists, for ice skaters, for clowns. Who knew? Well, at least you won't be running out of material anytime soon. Thanks for showing us around. To see more of our Artists in Residences videos, check out the library's website, westportlibrary.org. Thanks, and hope to see you at the library soon.